Hello, 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 and welcome back, all of my beautiful friends from the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing absolutely spectacular on this fine Tuesday morning, or whenever you happen to be listening to this podcast episode, whether that be morning, evening, or night. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now remember, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. You have absolutely no idea how much that helps the show, and I've been seeing the ratings the number of ratings have been increasing on Spotify, which I'm just so ecstatic about. So thank you all so much for doing that and going out of your way to do that. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that too. It helps so much. It helps drive more traffic to the show and helps expand our little community here, our little community of people who just are big fans of the Askreddit subreddit. So thank you all again just for participating in the show and for being such loyal, amazing listeners. I love each and every single one of you. I know I say that at the end of each podcast, but I don't say it enough at the beginning, so I just wanted to say that. So, a couple of housekeeping items. I'm sure that you all are aware. I mentioned this last week, maybe not the week before, but you can now expect to hear at least 3 ads throughout the show. I've been hearing a lot of stuff in the comments about ad placement and ad volume. It's something new, folks. I know if you have a Spotify Premium account, that you'll still hear the ads because they actually have to do with my being able to monetize the show. I've been given that privilege from Spotify because we now have enough listeners, and this is actually a big goal that I've been working towards from my podcasting career. So this is a big milestone for me. So I guess I should let you know when you can hear them, because I've been hearing that apparently Spotify is doing something stupid with the volume and increasing the ad level of the ad volume, which is really dumb. And I'm sorry, I don't have any control over the volume of the ads, which is unfortunate. I wish I did. I wish they gave us control. I don't really understand why they don't. Or at least tell us what level they are so I could make my podcast the same volume, which is just, I don't know, it's so dumb. But anyways, so you can expect to hear at least, I'm going back and putting ads in all my old episodes, so it may not be the same for all the older ones because it's harder to find these spots. But at least from now on and for the last week's few episodes, you'll hear an ad at about the 10-minute mark once I'm done reading off people's responses. So once I'm done reading off everybody's responses who responded from the week's prior episode, then you'll hear an ad, and then we'll do the podcast, and then about 30 minutes into the podcast itself, so 20 minutes after I read off everyone's episode, that's when you should be hearing 2 more ads, and then that's all that's left in the show. I have to space them out like that just because of the way that the ad system works in terms of how I'm able to actually make money off of the ads. I have to spread them out, and I have to make sure that enough people are listening to those ads. So I know not everybody likes the ads, but trust me, it definitely has the potential to make this podcast even better if I can be able to actually make some money off of the show and be able to spend more time onto the show and dedicate more time to the show, and maybe the goal of doing podcasting, in my opinion, like at least for it, was to potentially do it something that I want to do for a career and for a life, and I can't do that without making money off of it. So it was that's kind of a little bit of the trade-off. But you know what? I know you guys are all the best people in the world. Everyone who listens to this podcast are all the best people on the planet, so I don't have to worry about that. Anyways, remember, you can reply to this week's episode, and I will, in Spotify, you can go to Spotify, click the most recent episode, and you can reply to that episode, and I will publish your responses. You'll be able to hear I'll read those responses aloud on the next week's following episode, and you will be notified when your response is published. We had a lot of responses, man. I think we got 8 this week, and then another couple from YouTube. So it's just been, everyone's been grinding, man. Everyone's been grinding a part of the show. Okay, and I have one last action item. I'm so sorry I'm taking up everyone's time with this. I hate talking about housekeeping, boring stuff at the beginning of this show. But I am encouraging you. Maybe you might have seen it on my YouTube channel if you tune into the YouTube channel. I know some people have. Go hit up my Instagram. I'm starting to make those really fun, addicting Reddit videos where there's like the Minecraft stuff in the background. I'm using it as a way to promote the show, and sometimes it's just another form of fun content to watch and listen to. I enjoy making them, to be honest. I've spent the last weekend grinding, making like 30 of these. And I've been posting them. So there's like 15 or 16 that are already on my Instagram. So it's at Reddit Asks Us on my Instagram. And I read off, different responses from Reddit, and it's got the Minecraft parkour in the background and stuff. It's really fun. And it's my voice. It's not an AI-generated voice, so of course you can always trust the fact that it's not going to be an AI voice. I will be reading them. And I think they're just a really fun new form of content. It's a new way to promote the show, and I also just think they're fun in general. I think it's just another avenue of Reddit content, just to open our arms wider to the family, to the potential family of Redditors we have out there, and just people who might enjoy the show potentially. Okay, now that we have gone through all of that boring stuff, why don't we read through last week's replies? So last week's episode was, what is a strange piece of advice that you got that actually ended up working? Okay, so first one comes from Ghost. Wazza, Luke. Probably the one my stoner buddy, when we would smoke, he would say, don't swallow the smoke, inhale it, because if you swallow it, you might not end up being able to get high. Weird enough, but worked. Well, okay, that's an interesting tip if anybody if anybody's interested in maybe utilizing those tips. Thank you very much, Ghost, for your participation in the show. I think your username kind of reflects a little bit of this sentiment here in your comment. We got the Ghoster. Next one comes from Vortex. Oh, so awesome to see you again, Vortex. The ticketing turkey creepy Uncle Barnabas. If you know, you know. Yeah, we try to stay away from Uncle Barnabas on this show. Fian3900 says, number 1, I was told to shake it off when I got hurt. Still works today. Number 2, try making your own subreddit. Promote it here and you can make your own questions if you ever want to. Number 3, great episode, W. Thank you, Fion3900. I've always been thinking about making my own subreddit, but I think I might have to wait till the show gets a little bit bigger. I know that the community would definitely appreciate making a subreddit. I just don't know if it would be popular really enough or get much traffic. But maybe in the future, I'm never opposed to making my own subreddit. That sounds like really fun. Shake it off. I'm wondering if that means like you literally shake it off. Like you're just like as soon as you get hurt, you're just kind of like you get the shivers and you're just shivering around. You're like, oh, I feel better. I'm just like channeling this pain. I'm channeling into. I feel powerful. I don't even feel pain anymore. What is pain? And you're just walking around with a broken leg. Everyone wants that superpower. It's like, oh, I wish I wouldn't be able to feel pain. And it's like, well, the people who actually do have that condition end up dying pretty early because they have internal bleeding. They'll like have a bad fall and they're like, brush it off, shrug the shoulders, you'll brush the dirt off on the shoulders, and then they end up dying like less than 10 hours later because they couldn't feel anything, and yet they did not know that their lung was punctured or something by their rib cage. I don't wish that on you, Mr. Fian 3900. I was just making some jokes. Next one comes from Stressed Human. Oh, great to see you again, Stressed Human. Congrats, Luke. I get bad heartburn, and I can't take heartburn medication due to other meds. Got told to eat pickles. It worked only because I was low on stomach acid to a hiatal hernia. Wow. I think my grandpa had a hernia one time. I think it was like I don't even know what it is. And isn't it like the lining in your inner body just like it's like your organs like come out of it or something? I'm like, holy, that sounds like really morbid. Like, why? Why does that happen? Why isn't it just contained? Like, you got to wonder, like, what would happen if someone, like, back in the day, like, okay, we have the privilege of being able to go to a hospital. Like, it's the year is 1450. All right, your like spleen starts just poking out, and you're just like, all right, guess this. I'm just just my little quirk. Yeah, it's just flopped out one day. I'm in extreme pain, and I think death would actually probably be better than this. But it's just something you do. Just get into adult times. Just pop out a couple organs. You know how it is. But thank you for the congratulations, Stress Team. And Phil Savannah. Next one comes from Phil Savannah. Love seeing you again here, Phil. I just wanted to say I was so annoyed at the ads, but I can understand why you do it. I know, I'm sorry, buddy. Is there a way you can have the volume lowered, though? It comes out to blast my ears. Unfortunately, I cannot do that. I wish I could, but I could try making the podcast louder. That could be an option. Next one comes from KHKH, the Reddit guy. But it's great to see you again, KH. I remember you commented. I haven't commented in a while, so my mouse pad gets stuck all the time. So my best friend told me to slap the bottom of it a few times. Next time, it got stuck, and I slapped it a few times, and it worked. That's some zesty advice. It's like, I think it's a little, this cross, this advice works maybe it's just restricted to that domain. I wonder what your friend was doing. He was just like, yeah, just give it a good slap, just like, just give it a good like, and then it'll just turn it on. It gets real turned on. Yeah, it's able to just gets all horned up, ready for all of your tasking and tabbing needs. Next one comes from Caleb. What's going on, Caleb? Great to see you again. I take back what I said about the ads. Congrats about making money from this stuff. Thanks, Caleb. I really appreciate that. Next one and the last one from Spotify comes from Jameson Johnson. Been listening for a while, decided to comment to say what's up. Thank you so much. Yeah, please. The more the merrier. Don't ever think that I don't want to hear your comment if it's not related to the episode. I would totally, even if it's not related to the episode, if you even just want to talk or say something about the show or anything like that. I mean, if it's too hateful, I probably won't publish it. But if it's even if it's just a comment about the show or if you're a listener or you just want to tune in or just participate or whatever, please feel free to comment that and I will read it out loud. Absolutely. So thank you all so much for doing that. All right, next one. These last two come. One of them is about the ad stuff, and I kind of already talked about it a bit. But the other two come from YouTube. From Skyberry. Skyberry also, I think Skyberry commented in a bunch of my reels, so thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate that. Don't have one, but a common piece of advice that didn't work was to deep breathe to calm down or stop being scared. Like, Sharon, I'm having a panic attack. Deep breathing is not going to help. Great episode as usual. Thank you very much, Skyberry. Yeah, I'm having a crippling anxiety attack because I have a fear of crowds. But I've always just been told that that's such boomer advice. It's just take a deep breath. It's like, Grandpa, you don't understand. You have PTSD. Okay? You shouldn't be giving me advice about this. Okay? You can, if something goes down in your life, you're just repressing it and then it all just boils over. That is not helpful advice either. So I think the deep breathing, I think the boomers are confusing deep breathing with repression. They think, oh yeah, so if you're really experiencing anything difficult, just shove it down, pack it up into a tiny little ball, and just hold on to that energy, right? Hold on to the energy of that frustration, right? But just forget about all the details and whatever. And then when that ball has reached critical capacity, then it just explodes, right? And then just take that out on whoever's around you. And, it's gonna be a release. Okay. Think of it as a release. And you know what? People deserve that. All right. People deserve to get yelled at every once in a while. But no one can take yelling anymore nowadays. All right. You yell at someone and it's the end of the world. All right. It's call the cops. It's like, yeah, it is call the cops because you were verbally assaulting people. All right. People were genuinely scared. Now, last one comes from the topic. My dad used to say, calm water, deep water. Oceans like the Atlantic and Pacific are really deep, but they barely get waves, while shallow waters near the beach are super wavy. Basically what the saying means is the calmer a person is, the deeper they are, or the more knowledgeable they are. Great episode, and I'm proud that you've come this far. Thank you so much, the topic. All my OGs in the chat. right now, okay? These are my OGs, all hyping me up. I think everybody who listens to the show right now is OG, right? The show isn't that big, so I consider everybody who participates in the show an OG. So, wow, like look at how long it takes me to read these responses now. I'm getting so many. It used to take me like 5 minutes, and now I'm already 15 minutes into the show. But that is a great saying. I like that a lot. Especially, I think if you'll allow me the topic to take my own interpretation on that saying, I think one thing that at least I got away from that when I read that in the comment was like, I think it's very easy to stay in what we're comfortable with. But the deeper that we get into things that are more uncomfortable, like the scarier, the deeper that we get into the sea, the more capable we become. And so we're actually able to kind of handle more difficult issues easier, and things that used to bother us don't really bother us anymore. But yet if we stay in the area of our comfortability, that's actually when we become, the most frustrated, the most anxious, the most, the least calm, because, we're not used to kind of pushing ourselves, and venturing off into things that we get scared of, right? It's important sometimes to feel the right kind of anxiety, right? Go do something you're uncomfortable with, like skydiving, or even simple as if you have anxiety of crowds, maybe just go to the mall with a friend and just walk around or something. Like just experience it. Don't even buy anything. Don't do anything. Just go and just be around people, right? It could be something as simple as that. It's all relative. But I really like that. I really like that saying. So we're going to take a short ad break, and then we're going to be back for the real deal, back into the show for this week's episode.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
So, welcome back into this week's episode. So today we're coming from our favorite subreddit on the internet, Askreddit. And I read this off, actually, a couple of these off in my one of my Instagram reels. But I'm reading a bunch of new ones today, and you actually get to hear me read and react to them. So the first, this is, what is a dirty little secret that only you know because you worked in the industry? First one comes from The Internet is Nice. I used to work in radio, and we totally didn't take caller 10. We maybe counted 1 to 6 and then sorted through the callers until we found an exciting sounding voice that fit the target demographic. I feel like this doesn't even really surprise me. Like, there's no way you'd want, like, what is, like, you guys know who Robert F. Kennedy is, like RFK? He's got to be one of the most annoying people, not just for his, like, really strange political views, but his voice is just, it is like, his voice is the human version of the dog in the Grown Ups movie that they snip that dog's vocal cords. Like, he is just like, I don't even understand how he can get a word out. He's like, but it's like raspy. It's so weird. I'm like, how does this even, like, what? So, reply from Ron197192064. I won a radio call in trivia at a local station. We had to answer questions about Frosty the Snowman and what all his features were made from. I guessed the 3 questions right, so when I called and they picked up, I got 2 right, but missed 1 about his eyes. The screener then told me to say Cole, and then I think it was recorded and edited to make it seem like I got all 3 correct. I enjoyed $100 of gas back in the early 2000s. See, this just goes to show that everything, this is why I don't trust amusement parks, okay? This is why I'm, like, very skeptical of amusement parks. Everything's got a nice shiny outside, okay? It's nice. You're sitting in the little cart and you're like, "Oh, this looks like fun." All the aesthetics are nice. I'm in the Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios and it looks like there's a big castle in front of me, and then you walk into the bank of Ingots Bank or whatever it's called, and you see all the elves there, and okay, this looks cool, and you hop in the ride, and next thing you know, yeah, those elves were actually children, migrant children workers, and who they may dress up as elves, and the roller coaster fell off the track and killed 5 people. But you know what? It's more about the experience of the ride, right? It's a whole thing, okay? It's a whole experience. So what? Couple people died, okay? So what? They're using child labor from immigrant children who don't even know how to speak English, okay? This is just, it's all part of the aesthetic. It's what makes it, these places have their true backbone, okay? You need a little darkness to appreciate the sunshine, okay? So every car that passes through that Harry Potter ride without a couple of deaths on it, that's a blessing. We should count that day a success, in my opinion, okay? That's all I'm saying. So we need to look on the bright side a little bit. So what? We're taking advantage of child labor from kids who don't know how to speak English and were ripped away from their parents, okay? They're learning the value of hard work, okay? They're learning how to be entertainers. Isn't that what America is all about, right? It's about entertainment. So we're boosting them in the industry, okay? They're just getting a leg up on everyone else. They're learning how to play elves before they even know what elves are. So the way I see it, I think it's kind of a win-win here. This is the shiny. I think we're misconceiving this, okay? We need to view this in a little bit of a change of perspective. I'm clearly joking. I hope you guys all know that. Next one comes from Laugh Green 7890. I'm working at a sports club with way over 2,000 members, and I can tell you might sign some paper about data security and how we handle data, but believe me, your data will go places you don't want it to go. Isn't that very comforting to know? So just to know, if you ever want to join a gym, get healthy and fit, just improve your lifestyle, just give us your social security number and we'll get you right away. We'll get you started right on the bench press. Okay, we'll get you benching 250 pounds in 2 weeks. Okay, I promise you that. I can promise you that. So all you got to do, give us your social security number. Go ahead and fill out your credit card number. Yeah, 3 numbers on the back. Yeah, make sure you do that. Why don't you, while you're at it, maybe we have to have another credit card on file. So if you have your parents' credit card, maybe both of them, that would even be better. And also, it's helpful for us as a trusting company that, because we want to develop a level of trust here, right? It's a mutual thing, all right? You got to be committed to the gym. We're going to be committed to you. So why don't you just write down all of your most sensitive passwords, and if you skip a day at the gym, we'll leak them online. See, that's what we call in the gym world accountability. Okay, we're just holding you accountable. You can't be mad at us for leaking your most private and sensitive data. How else are we supposed to get you to hit your max gains? All right, I really don't see another way. It's either bench 250 next week or we're doxing your entire family. So this is a trust thing, okay? It's just we're developing a level of trust. That's what we like to call it in the gym industry. Geez, it is insane how difficult it is to leave a gym. Like I remember. So again, my listeners will know this, but in case you're new to the show, I'm living on the East Coast of Canada right now. I'm Canadian. That's where I live. I'm from Canada. I live on the East Coast of the country because I go here for school. But I'm originally from the western part of the country. And when I was living in the West over COVID, I was a member of this gym because I'm an avid gym goer, and I was a member of my gym, and canceling my membership was just the most convoluted thing. So you got to fill out a form. It's like, why can't you just isn't there a little computer system that you can go in that just says cancel? Like, I don't understand why it's this big thing. Like, I don't want to spend money here. I'm literally leaving. And then they charge you a fee for canceling. It's like, what? Why am I getting charged money to leave the gym? I paid you guys for like 2 years to go here. Okay, I've been a committed member. I've done my part. And you're just going to tell me like, yeah, for leaving us? You know, because the modern world, right? The modern world totally doesn't have people that are constantly moving around and constantly changing jobs and positions and moving to different places. No, that's not the modern world. No, we as your gym expect you to stay in the same place forever. Okay, we want you to just stick with us only, this particular gym. All right, your pass only works here. All right, you gotta pay another sum to change gyms. Oh my God, it's just who would think that? Like, this is what annoys me. I'm going on so many rants today, but it's like, if you want to get gym culture spread and like actually get people lifting and working out, don't make the barrier to entry and the barrier to exit so difficult. Okay, you're actively making this a very closed industry. Okay, you're making people not want to be a part of that. Oh, you want to leave? Yeah, that's $150 fee. So sign right there on the dotted line, $150. Yeah, no problem. Oh, you want to leave our gym? Oh, turns out you actually signed your soul away when you signed up for this contract. Yeah, it turns out, yeah, so we are of the spawn of Satan. Yeah, that's who we are. Exactly. You've seen it in the fine print. Yeah, fine print. Yeah, you missed that. So if you just read the fine print, we are a subsidiary of hell. And when you signed the contract, you did sign away your soul. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I have to tell you did sign away your soul. And we have it in writing. And we actually collected a couple blood samples from you too. And I'm sorry, you're kind of locked into us for, yeah, fine print says eternity. So sorry about that. Yeah, maybe we can give you a free water bottle. We're offering free duffel bags. But that's only if you got a premium membership. So if you want to do a premium membership, we can sign you up for a premium membership, and then you get a free duffel bag and water bottle. And then you get a month's supply of supplements that you're never going to use. Oh, I'm going on such a rant today. Next one comes from Cunning Runt. I'm no longer shocked by the vast amount of software we all use on a daily basis that is rushed into production, shoddy, insecure, and held together with spit and band-aids. I'm amazed everything just hasn't collapsed into dust already. I feel like this kind of makes sense though, because even Instagram will go down and people will just be like people will freak out. People are like, Instagram's down. What were you doing? Like 30 minutes when Instagram's like back on, they're like, what were you doing? Well, Instagram's down. I didn't know what to do. I actually had to go outside. Instagram was down. What was I supposed to do? Instagram? Facebook? What do you expect me to do? Talk with other people? Instagram is down. My 80% of my daily dopamine is just taken away from me. It's robbed from me. Okay? Look what you've done. I'm suffering. It's like, okay, yeah, like I feel like most platforms and stuff are they just do all the stuff to make it look aesthetically pleasing, but it ends up just like to be the easiest place to get your password stolen. So Apple has this like feature where you can go into your settings and see all of your passwords, like your saved passwords that you've used on your like iCloud keychain or whatever. And I went in there one time, like, because I didn't know that it was a thing. It was like the first time I went in there. And keep in mind, I use the Apple suggested passwords, the really long, random, weird ones that are supposed to, you know, be super extra safe. And I went in there and it was like, you have 50 passwords that are compromised. I'm like, okay, thanks a lot, CBS Sports app. Like, yeah, I don't think the engineers at CBS Sports are really focused on data security. Okay, I really don't think. I don't think the app developers at the fun loving game bubblegum blowers are too concerned with protecting your data privacy. So I don't know. Guess it's just a reality that we have to live with. We don't own anything. We own nothing. Everyone else owns us. We are the product. Next one comes from Appa the Samurai. I'm in insurance. If you call to request an estimate for a claim, they will count it as a $0 claim on your file when they deem the damage not enough to repair. That means when another company pulls your information, it will not only impact your future rates, but might make you ineligible for future policies. Don't ever call insurance for an estimate first. Get a third-party inspector to tell you whether you should file with insurance. Being an adult, you start to understand how insurance works. You know, you get in the conversations with your parents, you know, and your peers and other adults in school and whatnot. And you maybe watch some YouTube videos. You're starting to understand how this insurance stuff works. And I'm fully under the assumption that insurance is just a giant scam. It's just like, why don't you give us all of your money, or a massive chunk of your money that you're just never going to see again, and when you die, no one gets it. It just, nothing happens to it. It just, we get it. We get the money. You just pay us for things that might happen, and then turns out when things do happen, we don't help you at all. So, sorry about that. They're just giving you money. I made a mistake doing this when I was younger. So, when I was in high school, I was such an idiot, but I mean, I was in this particular situation, but I was also in general as well. Of course I was in a rush to get somewhere, because you're in a rush to get somewhere when you're in the 11th grade, and you got a Snapchat from a girl you liked. So I was in some stupid rush to get somewhere, and I backed out of our driveway, and I backed into my sister's friend's car. And so I had to go talk with her. And like, my sister's friend's an amazing person, so it wasn't a big deal or anything. But we went through insurance, and it was the stupidest thing I've ever done, because my insurance rates went up, and then it would cost money on top of that to repair this thing. And then apparently she had a tough time actually getting it repaired, and it was just, as I backed into her door, and I messed up her door, so she had to get a new door. And then my sister's boyfriend at the time told me that it's cheaper to just go to a salvage yard and buy the door off of the same model of car and just pay a repair place to just paint it and put it on. And I was like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing. Apparently it's way easier. You just do it privately, so then it doesn't affect your insurance at all, especially if it's something little like that, or if you accidentally break somebody's windshield or something. Just pay for it to get replaced. Don't go through insurance, because insurance is going to be like, oh, you made a mistake? Okay, well, that cost is going to be following you around for the rest of your life. So maybe you should think about not being stupid when you're 16 years old. I feel like that's just an oxymoron. All right, next one comes from Rat Darkness. There isn't a larger than normal call volume. We just don't have enough staff. Also, your call is not important to us. We actually want you to go away. What? You mean my airline doesn't want to talk to me? Doesn't want to listen to me scream? Doesn't want to listen to me yell at them over the phone? I mean, I don't yell at airline people over the phone, but that's just the number one people that people yell at on the phone is airlines. It's just yeah, I think that you being super aggressive and insulting someone that has absolutely nothing to do with your situation is really helpful. It's especially when technology, people call Apple and they start yelling at them. It's this poor person in the Apple call center doesn't it's not their fault, okay? They work for Apple, okay? If there's anyone you should be mad at, it's the company, not the poor people who work there in the call center. It's like, you know what? You don't have to be so unhelpful, okay? You're just I need this problem solved, and you're not solving it for me. It's well, I don't know what to tell you, because I really have nothing to do with this. I'm doing the best that I can within company policy. I just have to pay my rent, okay? I just need to give my landlord my rent check so that I can still eat, and I can also have a place to sleep. So I just like, I don't understand the mentality of being mean to people who work in like people who work in call centers. Like, it's like, come on, like, what are they going to do? What power do they have over the situation? They are not, like, they have no control over what's going to happen to your broken, cracked iPhone screen, okay? They're not the person to be yelling at. Get mad at Apple for sure, but I don't know, maybe tweet at Tim Cook or something. I don't know, maybe tweet at some Apple executives. Maybe don't yell at the poor person who's on the other end of your line at the call center. It's like, okay, I'm a college student. I just need this job to survive. Next one comes from Twat Wumble. This one is fairly known, but I'm just confirming it as truth, as someone who used to work in a factory. The brand you buy doesn't always matter. Sometimes it's all the same stuff that comes out of the same vats, but just labeled differently and sold at different price ranges. Reply from Informal Truck 1574. I work in a bottling plant. It's an independent Pepsi bottler. We make Aquafina and also our own labeled water. It's 100% the same thing. Same bottle, same water, same standards, same caps. Only difference is the label. We don't even stop running when we switch from Aquafina to our water. They just stop the labeler and change the label and keep going. Never buy brain damaged. Never buy brain damaged water. Never buy brand name water. Yeah, unfortunately, if you've ever traveled in the airports, all they sell is brand name water. There is no cheap option, which is really annoying because I all know it comes from the same place. This is why it's so annoying when people are like, "Oh, Dasani's the worst water." It's like, bro, it's literally water. Okay? Are you expecting an amazing taste out of your water? Do you want to, like, I don't understand. Like, are you expecting to taste like Fruitopia? Like, I don't understand. Like, are you expecting that it's supposed to be Jesus's direct blood in this water and it's making it unnaturally sweet? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's like, what do you mean gross water? It's literally water. Okay, water has no taste. No water has taste. Although, I will say this. Carbonated water, goated. Carbonated water is goated. I am on the carbonated water train, okay? I never really used to be a drinker of carbonated water, but my parents have a soda stream, and I was using it when I was back home because I love Perrier, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll try some of this carbonated, water from the soda stream. I'm addicted. Okay, it is so good. And this carbonated water is like sweet for some reason. It's like adds a sweet element. I don't really like the carbonated water from like that you buy in a can, like from brands and stuff. Perrier is the only one I kind of enjoy. But the straight out the soda stream, dude, I am dieseling it. If it was actually soda in those soda streams, like if it wasn't just carbonated water, I would probably weigh 500 pounds. All right, like I drink way too much carbonated water. I don't even know if that's a thing, but still. Next one comes from Brown Gina. Beer taps at bars and restaurants are not always clean, and they can be very, very dirty. Well, if you're from the U.S. and you're listening to this podcast and you're under the age of 21 years old, then hopefully you've never been to a bar, so you wouldn't be able to know what that is. And in Canada, you can start going to bars when you're 19, 18 in some places, so maybe some of my fellow Canadians or European listeners, my listeners from the UK, shout out to my listeners from the UK and Australia, New Zealand. I know you guys love to rip the show, and Germany loves to rip this show too. And who comments in his German? Someone comments in their German. I forget. One of my commenters, one of my beautiful listeners from the internet is from Germany. But you guys can go to the bar or drink beer or buy beer or something when you're like 16, which is so wild. But also the drinking cultures, I think, are a bit different. In Canada, it's a lot of drinking to just get wasted. So I think in other places in the world they have a little bit more moderate of a culture. Alcohol is something that you're supposed to drink to kind of enjoy and just relax and have fun with your family. And then everyone who does it here is, let's make the cheapest beer possible, and let's just make it so that we can all, with just the worst things possible in it, and let's just make it also we can just hope that it's gonna change our lives, hope that it's gonna take away the pain. That's what we use alcohol here for. But you know what? I've experienced that, because there's one bar in the city, like in the city that I live, there's one bar here that I swear, dude, I can drink the same beer from any other bar in the city, but when I go to this one bar and I drink from it, I get just the worst sickness the next day. I'm like a pounding headache. My stomach feels so queasy. I don't know if they've cleaned those taps in probably 30 years. When my mom was in university and she came back to Halifax to visit, I think those taps are probably still the same from when she was in college in the 90s. Those taps probably haven't been cleaned since then. It was my mom's freshman class or whatever, or graduating class. Oh, I know. Well, she went almost about exactly 30 years ago, because it's 2024. She probably graduated in 1994, I think. So, yeah, pretty much, exactly 30 years ago. My mom's maybe senior year of college. That's the last time that they cleaned those taps, and I'm almost certain of it. Next one comes from Butt Manguson. So basically what I was just saying before is be careful of your local dive bars, okay? Try not to drink too much from the local dive bar. Do a little bit of pre-drinking beforehand before you lose your stomach lining's capacity to protect you. So next one comes from Butt Manguson. Well, I work for Boeing. Secrets are out, I guess. You know what? With this Boeing thing, okay? So in case anyone hasn't heard about the Boeing thing, recently there was an Alaskan Airlines flight that was flying in the air, as airplanes do, and the emergency door flew off, like it broke and flew off. And then thankfully no one was injured or hurt because of this, but they had to do an emergency landing. Thankfully, they weren't high enough to where people could have got sucked out, because apparently back in the 80s, late 80s, I think it was 1989, it was another Boeing plane where the emergency exit door flew off, and actually did end up, I think it was killing 7 or 16 people, or it was 9 people or 16 people or something like that, because they all got sucked out. Because they were really high above the ground. But thankfully they were not high enough. But apparently they did some investigation, and it was because when they were doing some maintenance on the doors, they forgot to put these door hinges back on, and inevitably the door fell off. So, just be aware that if you're flying on a Boeing 737 or 747, that you might just catch a little extra drift, little extra breeze in the cabin. Okay, expect the cabin pressure to just, to depressurize just for a bit. Okay, I think I don't understand why people are complaining. Everyone's all, airline air is so stuffy. Airline air is so dry, and it's so disgusting and smells terrible. Well, then why don't we just crack the emergency window, the emergency door open, allow a little fresh air. It's cold, right? Airplanes, you always get sweaty on airplanes, and those fans above you are never, quite enough to get you nice and chilled. So why don't we just, crack the door open a little bit, allow some fresh air in, and then we can all enjoy the rest of our flight. Okay, so what I think Boeing was doing here, I think this could lead the way to innovation. All right, this could lead the way to, maybe having a little button by your window where you can put the window down. Okay, I don't understand why we can't just lower the window a little bit on an airplane 30,000 feet above the ground. I don't see why we can't do this. This seems like we want to just, it's all about creating a positive customer experience. Okay, what's going to facilitate a positive customer experience? People just need some air. All right, need some nice, clean, fresh, freezing cold, 30,000 feet above the ground air. Next one comes from, I hope you guys all know I'm joking. I don't know. I always have to say that. I feel like I have to say that, but I'm not being serious. That is horrifying. Please don't fly on a Boeing. Well, maybe they got it figured out. I don't know. But next one comes from Works For Me. Enterprise Rent-A-Car buys their cars straight from the manufacturers at a lower price than the dealerships get. After they rent them for a year, they sell them to the public at a price higher than they originally paid. What? You mean rental car company that's already expensive and absolutely unreasonable is screwing me again? That couldn't be. I feel like rental car companies have got to be just the worst. Like, they got to be some of the worst companies. I had a friend who did a rental car for like a weekend, and it was like $200 for like 2 days. I'm like, what? Like, you might as well just beg your friends to drive their vehicle. Like, I don't even, like, this renting a car sounds like just burn, like, I might as well burn money. I might as well just flush it directly down the toilet. Like, who can afford to? There's no way they get that much business. How? They always have so many cars on the lot. Every single time that I drive by like Enterprise Rent-A-Car or something, or Hertz or whatever, there's always a bunch of cars there. It's like, how are you in business? Who's renting from you? Okay, most people now just take I think a lot of people now would just take public transit in places they travel to. Like, they just take like buses and trains and taxis, Ubers. Like, how are you still in business? I don't understand it. Yeah, why don't we just charge people an unreasonably large amount of money for a service that just adds convenience, and then we'll just hope that business model works out. These companies can't be doing well. I refuse to believe it. Next one comes from Bailout 911. There are tons of buildings out there that don't meet code, even new construction. Inspectors either don't care, don't know the code, or don't even bother to inspect in the first place. On the plus side, building code is extremely over-conservative. So if you get close, it's probably safe. Maybe, most of the time, except when it's not. And then everyone gets sued. Yeah, if I'm in a big building, I'm just, as a person who's in the building, I think I'm just going to go on a limb and say that I would like for that building to be meeting code. I don't think that when I'm on the 30th floor of this building that I would be okay thinking, you know what? So what? There's some rebar missing in the foundations of the building. So what? We missed a couple floors of rebar and concrete foundation, and we didn't let it fully dry. You know what? It's fine. I'm sure we're all going to be fine. I'm sure this is going to turn out just great for everybody involved. I'm sure that we're going to have just the most safest experience in this building. This is scary. This makes me think everyone wants things done cheap and fast nowadays, and now we're just getting buildings that are just collapsing in on themselves. Like, I can't see this going well. All right, I can't. If there's one sort of thing that I want to be built well, I feel like it's airplanes for sure, and very large buildings. Okay, I don't want to be on the top floor, or even a middle floor, or even on the bottom floor of a building, and it just collapses. Okay, I think I would feel pretty screwed in that situation. I would feel like I got shafted, just a bit. Okay. Next one comes from Fireball Monkey. In a lot of cases, the fancier the marketing, the messier the management. Did we learn nothing from Fire Festival? I know. I feel like that's just like a universal principle. Everything that's like looks like it's made well is just actually made with the worst materials imaginable. This is cars nowadays. They look so nice on the outside, and then they work for like 5 years before. Yeah, it looks like your transmission is completely destroyed. So, it's going to be about $10,000. Yeah, $10,000. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I understand. Well, it's really not even the transmission that's expensive. It's the computer system. It's all the integrated parts, and that's really what's driving that price up. So if you could just sign there, initial there, and there you go. So we have a credit card on file. Yeah, there you go. Nice, sweet. I'm like, I don't think anything is made really that well anymore. Like, it's just. We just accept this as part of our lives now. We just have to accept the fact that things don't last. Like I'm at a loss. I think we're all kind of just taking the L on this one. It's like, okay, I just bought this brand new thing and now it doesn't work. And then the staff is telling me, "Oh, that's normal." Yeah, that's usually how long it's last. "Oh, you got this iPhone a year ago?" Well, you know how we make new iPhones every year. Okay, so iPhones come out every single year. And usually the old phones, they just can't handle the newer software, and the batteries last, 2 to 3 minutes. So it's, we're just, and you know what? This is a good thing because this is the life cycle. You've used its life cycle. So you had the phone for a year. Would you be interested in the iPhone 15 Pro X Max double, triple, quarter pounder, double Big Mac, flippy, dippy, whippy, mocha chica iPhone 7000, X port? Would you be interested in this? This is our brand new top of the line phone. It'll last you 6 months. Doesn't that sound enticing? Yeah, I know you're getting all enticed by the sound of that. All right, let's see. Let's maybe read off one more. I think there was one funny one here about, okay. So this one comes from sadly not Danny DeVito. Wow, I am sad. Now I'm starting to think that is Danny DeVito though. So this is someone who works in hotels. People cleaning their underwear in kettles is a huge problem in hotels. We find so many forgotten underpants in kettles that I can't even assume how many we didn't catch. Don't use them. What the fuck? If you want a nicer room in a hotel, book under professor or doctor your name. That makes it more likely to be that you're going to be bumped up. Oh yes, just lie. Just be untruthful. Be dishonest. Well, it's not totally the worst thing in the world, because they are massive companies, hotels. When you're traveling privately, take a card from any hotel testing company with you and give it to the reception when you arrive to enter as the address for your bill. Staff will be extra nice to you. Take a card from any hotel testing company with you. Okay. I don't know exactly what that means. If you want to steal towels from your hotel, don't steal them on the day you're leaving. Just put one in your suitcase day after day and throw the remaining towels on a stack on the floor. Housekeeper will most likely not count them because they don't have time, and put a full amount of new towels in your room. As long as a full set is there when you're leaving, you'll be fine. We keep records. That's actually kind of a finesse. We keep records about who was nice and who wasn't in our system. If you were nice, you're more likely to be bumped up. No way. That's crazy. I did not know that. I mean, well, I guess that does empower the front desk workers. I mean, I've seen people get really angry at front desk workers, and it's like they can't do anything. They literally can't do anything about the situation. All right, like there's that one video that blew up that the guy's like pissed off, and because like they double booked the room by accident, and then he missed. No, it wasn't a double booking. He booked the wrong room on accident, and he was expecting the hotel to make a change, and they were like, "We don't have any other rooms available." And he's like, "So what? You're just gonna was we supposed to let my kids sleep on a pull-out couch?" It's like, well, yeah, you booked the room. I'm sorry, but like you booked this room. That was your fault, bro. If you're cleaning your underpants in the kettle, bro, you got to do some serious life reevaluation. I hope I don't have to be the one to tell you that. I hope that's fairly obvious. Your life cannot be going well if you're just, sitting in the hotel, just kind of boiling your underwear. Let me just get these nice and hot, nice and steamy. Steam those underpants. Yeah, get those skid marks out of there. Yeah, boil that right out of there. I love the smell. The smell is just great when you boil those underwear, and then you just get that smell of pee and poo, just kind of, adding that fragrance, that musk into the room. Yeah, what a great idea, I think that is. Why are you washing your underpants in a kettle? What is who are you? What are you doing? What does your life look like? There is no way you have a stable life at home. There's no way you're just like going home to the husband and kids, going home to the wife and kids, just finished boiling my underpants in the kettle. Oh my God. So ridiculous. Okay, thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast. I'm so happy and just grateful for each and every one of you who tunes into the show and listens. I love you all so much. Remember, you can reply to this week's episode, and I will read your comment out loud on the next week's following episode. Again, I do want to apologize for the long housekeeping stuff at the beginning of this podcast, but it was stuff that I had to get out of the way. And lastly, I don't know why I'm mentioning this at the end of the podcast. I'm going to mention this at the beginning of the next one. So in case you're listening all the way to the end of this, how would you as listeners feel about, this isn't something I don't know if I'm going to implement this anytime soon. But it was an idea I was toying around with, just to maybe see if there was support for this. But, I was toying around with the idea of maybe putting out another episode during the week. So I have an episode that comes out on Tuesdays, and I was thinking maybe doing another episode that comes out on Thursdays, but this would be a subscriber-only episode. So there would be a subscriber fee. So I was thinking if I'm putting out 4 episodes, extra episodes a month, it would be maybe like $1 an episode. So maybe it's like $4 a month or something like that. Like $4 or $5. I don't know if that's too much, but or if anyone would be even care enough to want to pay any money to listen to an extra episode of the show. But I was kind of toying around with that idea, or I don't know if that's too much. I really don't know what the gauge is if I'm charging too much. But I wanted to put that out there, see if anyone would be interested in something like that. And this would be like an ad-free episode, so there'd be no ads. It would be just an extra episode of content, and then it's just like a bonus episode. So that episode I was thinking would come out on Thursdays. But I want to put this out there in case anyone has interest in me doing that. And if that's something that you as listeners would be interested in, as just a way to get more content if you enjoy the show, but also to help me actually create a sustainable sort of thing with this show. And maybe this is something I could do, as like a part-time job, or hopefully in the future a full-time job. But I wanted to see what the consensus might be for something like that. But no pressure. And again, it's not something I don't know if I'm going to be implementing something like this soon. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, but I don't know how soon I would implement something like that. I just wanted to see get audience reactions. But anyways, enough of me yapping. Enough of yap. This episode has been a lot of yap by me. But anyways, okay. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast. Remember, the podcast comes out every Tuesday, and I will see y'all next week. Peace out. Love you. Goodbye.